there's a couple of headlines going around. I actually don't have any entries this week. I'm looking for dollar bullishness as always, but I'm also worried about FOMC.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the same thing. I was going to ask. So, I mean, we're overall hawkish, but
Yeah.
what are you looking for out of the meeting here this week, and what's kind of your expectations?
Now, as if we're going to go the route that ECB did, as where we are going to lower the growth, the GDP forecast, but raise this inflation, uh, and we're going to see maybe a reduction in the dot plot, like how much Fed members are thinking going to go in interest rates. If that's going to be reduced, then we have a shift of the market. So I'm actually, I'm like, what should they think? Because right now we have incoming news as there might be stagflation soon.
Mm,
Is that going to affect a Fed? So that is going on in my head at the moment.
interesting. Ivan, I want to ask you if you can you pull up the dollar here for a second. I mean, the dollar right now is really, really interesting. It's just hovering around the highs. And what's your take on it technically? Do you think that the optimism matches the chart? Do you think that there's a divergence between forecasts and the upcoming Fed meeting? What's your thought just from what the chart is telling us?
I fear range bound that we haven't broken the high yet. I want power. You know, you don't want a lot. You want something that breaks through and goes higher. And
Right.
right now that we are sitting there, that makes me a bit worried. But I also think that also know that when we have Fed in the same the same week, that could lead to dollar bullishness because market doesn't know where to go. So
Mm.
that's kind of how I see it. Like, where are we going to go lower? Are we going to go higher? Market is telling me we don't know. We're just going to be here around that area until Wednesday, until Fed tells us what they're going to do next. So if I was to buy dollar right now, I will. I'm cautious. I want lower so I can get it higher. But but the
Yeah,
best
no,
one would
I
be
don't blame
even
you.
a higher high. That would be the best.
Yeah, and I think that despite whether you're a dollar bull, whether you're a dollar bear, whatever, I think that going into a meeting you have to be very, very cautious because nobody knows exactly what is going to be said. But it's like you said, if you are dollar bullish, you're probably looking for better pricing, and if you're dollar bearish, you're probably waiting to see something dovish or something not so great for the dollar to perhaps act on. If you were to see something really hawkish from the dollar, something really strong from the dollar, which charts would you look at most exclusively? Because obviously we've got the DXY, but which markets are you looking at the most? So the euro.
Euro.
All
Yeah.
right. So tell me about the
It's
euro. What would you look to do with it?
Now I want to sell 110. I don't have the price yet, so I'm just waiting. So now it's the concerns in Europe over growth forecast now with Ukraine, and we are soon going to see what that has actually done to Europe. In terms of has people stopped doing what they normally do, but also what Denise told me earlier today was that people are in America are at the brink of what they actually have money for. Prices are so high that we are like, are we? They don't have any extra money, so that is going to hurt growth.
Mm,
So for me, on euro dollar right now, it's like, okay, I want this to fall, and right now it's hopefully 110 is gonna react to it. And going back to Europe again, we still have dollar bullishness coming in the future. And where's dollar bullishness coming from? Mostly euro.
right. Yeah, no, and I that totally makes sense to me because the euro, it's not just about the dollar. I love that you brought up the euro dollar because I also am bearish on the euro specifically. I mentioned I like that. I think you may have seen on my previous stream if you were there at the time, but at 1.1150, I think it was so painful to watch fall away from me. It was like the level for me. It was a 50% retracement on the higher time frames. Looked great. Was coming into my level, and I just missed it. So it's definitely a little bit painful there. But I'm with you on the short bias there, especially with what you mentioned about. So was it GDP expectations in Europe? Is that what you were saying?
Now it's ECB.
ECB.
ECB
Okay.
lowered their forecast for GDP short term.
Got it.
And now we need to price that in. That is a dollar euro bearish move.
Yeah, so I'm definitely, overall, the question is now, is the trade missed, or is it, is there more to look at on the lower time frames? And what you just kind of said was a little bit of an answer to that question. You're looking at the 110 level as a shorter term opportunity. You missed perhaps the initial point of selling, but there's always those retests intra-week, intraday, that sort of thing that you can look out for. So I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, we're getting a second attempt at 110. That's what we were getting. But
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what else are you looking at? What are your thoughts on gold right now? Gold's pulling back, oil's pulling back. What do you think?
You gave me a good question, and then you just butchered it. CAD yen.
CAD yen. Okay.
Can you please take CAD yen?
Sure. I said CAD yen.
Bought the Friday. Bought the Friday spike, and it went higher. That's what I've done. But other than that, I didn't want to tell anyone, but it was on my account. But yeah, so come out now. I didn't die, and it was a higher high. It's not my strategy. It was a FOMO trade.
Hey,
whatever.
That's still true. So CAD yen, is that off of thinking about oil?
It's the unemployment.
Okay. Yep. Because they were so strong last week. I saw I was watching your stream when you reacted to it. It was so
and I
strong.
did that with you. I don't know if you saw it, but I don't want to tell. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell, so I'm not telling.
You're allowed to tell. We're transparent here.
No, as in terms of trading advice. Okay. If I say that I'm taking a trade right now, I don't want to be in trouble.
Sure.
But I can go to gold, and I'm thinking it should fall.
And you got that orange line. What is the orange line there?
That is someone else's trade. Sorry.
Okay.
That is my trade plan. Because over the weekend we have a Zoom meeting and went through people's trade plans. That was someone's actual trade. So 2000 is kind of on the level I wanted to go up to if I'm going to sell it, but it can just drop for my case, because I have realized that too many traders in this group loses on gold. So I'm almost going to toss it out the window because I don't want to see any more pain.
Gold is, so there's a whole thing we could go down with the contract sizes behind gold and indices that are like, it's almost like Frank and I were having this discussion. Frank's one of the guys at the office. We were discussing about how the contract sizes are almost like suited towards $10,000 plus account sizes. Mm-hmm. Like they're so large, it's very hard to actually risk something like 1% or less on a trade, which is a whole nother conversation for a whole nother video. But what you made about gold, you're actually sell biased on it. What's the reason behind wanting to short? Is it bullish on the dollar, Fed, rate hikes incoming? What are your thoughts there?
Do you know what? For me, that represents take profit. So for me, that it represents exhaustion. That we have reached a level so high, the market is fed up with buying. So right now that I see it as an exhaustion move, technically, not really fundamentally. So it's more like the money flow at the moment, and also it is a dollar bullish. General speaking, can lead to dollar falling a bit more. But right now, the war, the reason for gold purchases has been priced in. I don't know if Russia is selling gold, but it's definitely not bullish.
Yeah, no, and I think that's actually a good point too. You're seeing something in the technicals, you're seeing the profit taking. I like that point that you made. It does look like that. Obviously you look left on the screen, you see this just nothing but every single little dip got bought into aggressively. Now we've seen a bit of a change in pace, and now how far do you think that gold could come down to? Obviously you're not absolutely bearish on commodities, or maybe you are, but perhaps you think that it's just a pullback, a bigger sell move that's happening. Where's your next spot for targets?
1900. That's just a round level, and if it doesn't, if it hits, it doesn't really matter. But that's like a what do you call it? It's a level where I can see that market is now have pulled back so much that we can now restart again and then go higher or continue lower for that matter. But I think we also need to erase most of the move that has happened lately, as to we don't have any more escalation. We have Putin saying that there's positive outcomes or positivity around the talks with Ukraine, and that is something that gold will fall on.
Right. That makes sense. And so you're saying even if gold is overall going to continue bullish, I do agree that, you know, that recent move was almost like it was like the hyper extreme, you know, blow off top kind of looking move. So it definitely looks like a 1900 move back kind of makes sense in terms of just a resetting point, especially if you're looking on the higher time frames, you know, 4-hour daily chart. It makes a lot of sense that, you know, buyers could be sitting kind of waiting for a chance to get back in, but they've got to wait for levels that make sense.
For those who's wondering, technically, it
Yeah.
has been used as resistance before.
Interested in seeing our trades live as they happen? By joining the A1 Trading Discord, you'll get a notification every time one of our traders enters a position. Each trade we share comes with an entry price, a stop loss, and most importantly, a full breakdown of why the trade was taken. Learn alongside our experienced traders, join our active chat room, and ask your questions in our coaching webinars. Between our team of active traders, we trade forex pairs, commodities like gold and oil, crypto, and stocks. By joining the group, you'll be able to keep up with all of it. Sign up today using the link in the description, and don't forget to use our promo code listed below for a special subscriber discount. Thanks for watching, and see you inside.